Hello and welcome to another session of MCQs on basic macroeconomics. Our sixth lecture in basic macroeconomics was about macroeconomic analysis, sectors and variables. And today we are going to conduct a brief MCQ session on that very subject, the things that we have discussed in the lecture. So let us come to the session and begin with our first question. The first question is, payment or remuneration paid to factor services is called. What do we call the payment that we make or remuneration that we give to factor services? So the options are factor payment, transfer payment, consumption expenditure, investment. Now the appropriate answer over here is factor payment, because when we give our factor services to the business sector, what they give in return, the remuneration that we get, that very remuneration is called as, collectively it is called as factor payment or factor payments. The second question is, to satisfy personal wants, payment for final goods and services is called. The payment made for final goods and services when we make expenditure of final goods and services as consumers to satisfy our own personal wants, what is that very payment called? Or what is that very expenditure called? So we are having the options. It is called factor payments, it is called subsidy, it is called consumption expenditure, and it is called investment. Now the appropriate answer in this case is consumption expenditure, because what the household spends to satisfy their personal wants by consuming goods and services is called as consumption expenditure. Our third question is, which of the following is not done by the household sector? We have to identify the option which is not an engagement of the household sector. Now the options include payment of taxes, consumption expenditure, then saving and investment. Now if we look carefully at these options, we know that the household sector does pay taxes. The household sector does make consumption expenditure. In fact, consumption expenditure is actually associated with the household sector. They also go for savings. A part of income they keep for savings, which they deposit in financial institutions. And finally, the only thing that they don't do, which is mentioned in this list in the options, is investment, because investment is done by the business sector or the production sector, but not by the household sector, because if the household sector goes for investment, it will become business sector at that time. So it is the job of business sector actually. Our fourth question is, investment by a foreign citizen in which he or she manages the firm is called. When a person, a foreigner, makes an investment in our economy, and he simultaneously, the person also manages his business in our country, the production process, what type of investment is this? Now the options are foreign direct investment, foreign institutional investment, foreign exchange, and the last option is foreign sector. Now the right answer in this case is foreign direct investment, because foreign direct investment means that a foreigner is making an investment, a foreign individual or a company or government, and they come over here and then they also oversee the operations of that very business, the working of that very business. So this is called as foreign direct investment. Our last question for today's session is, export of goods and services lead to. When we export goods and services, what happens? So the options are inflow of foreign exchange. The second option is outflow of foreign exchange. The third option is balance of payments, and the fourth option is tariffs. Actually, when we export goods and services, when there is sale of goods and services to foreigners, at that time what we get is foreign exchange or foreign currency. So the appropriate option in this case is inflow of foreign exchange, which is the first option in the list of the options given for the question. So the answer is inflow of foreign exchange when we go for export of goods and services. I hope that you have enjoyed this brief session of MCQs on our sixth lecture, macroeconomic analysis, sectors and variables. Do subscribe to my YouTube channel, Next Economics. Thank you very much.